Have you ever wondered why our armpits can sometimes get a little fragrant? It's a super common human experience, but the science behind it is actually pretty fascinating and not what most people think. Let's bust a major myth right now. Sweat itself doesn't smell. I know it sounds crazy, but it's true. Your sweat is basically just salt and water, which is odorless. So what's the real culprit behind body odor? It's all about the tiny invisible world living on your skin. Our skin, especially in warm, moist places like our underarms, is home to a whole ecosystem of bacteria. Most of them are harmless, just chilling out, doing their thing. Now we have two main types of sweat glands: eccrine glands, which are all over our body and produce that watery sweat to cool us down, and apocrine glands. These apocrine glands are the ones we want to focus on. They are concentrated in areas with lots of hair follicles, like our armpits and groin. These glands become active during puberty, and they don't just release water and salt. They produce a thicker, milkier sweat that's packed with proteins and fats. For us, this sweat is still odorless. But for the bacteria living in our armpits, it's an all-you-can-eat buffet. When these bacteria feast on the proteins and fats in your apocrine sweat, they break them down into smaller, smelly molecules. These molecules are what we perceive as body odor. Think of it like this: the bacteria are tiny chefs, and the sweat is their ingredients. They cook up a new dish, and that dish just happens to have a very distinct aroma. So the unique smell of BO is the byproduct of this bacterial breakdown process. It's a chemical reaction happening right there in your armpit. And because everyone has a slightly different mix of bacteria on their skin, everyone's body odor is slightly different, like a personal scent signature. The warm, damp environment of a closed-off armpit is the perfect breeding ground for these bacteria to thrive and multiply, which is why the smell can become more noticeable in that area. Now you might be thinking, okay, that's interesting, but how do I manage it? Understanding the cause is the first step to finding the solution. This is where deodorant and antiperspirant come in. They work in two very different ways. An antiperspirant works by temporarily blocking your sweat ducts. It usually contains aluminum-based compounds that form a plug in your sweat glands, reducing the amount of sweat that reaches your skin's surface. Less sweat means less food for the bacteria, which in turn means less odor. It's like cutting off the supply chain to the bacterial feast. Deodorant, on the other hand, doesn't stop you from sweating. Its job is to tackle the smell directly. Deodorants are often alcohol-based, which makes your skin more acidic and a less friendly environment for those odor-causing bacteria. So, antiperspirant stops the sweat, and deodorant stops the smell. Many products on the market are actually a combination of both. But what if you've noticed that your BO changes sometimes? That's completely normal. Several factors can influence the intensity and scent. Diet is a big one. Eating certain foods like garlic, onions, curry, and cruciferous vegetables like broccoli and cabbage can actually affect your body odor. The sulfur compounds in these foods are absorbed into your bloodstream and then released through your sweat and breath. It's not just a myth. What you eat can literally come out through your pores. Hormones also play a huge role. Hormonal fluctuations during puberty, the menstrual cycle, pregnancy, or menopause can all change the composition of your apocrine sweat, making it more or less appealing to those bacteria. This is why teenagers often suddenly develop body odor and why you might notice changes in your scent at different times of the month. Stress is another major trigger. When you're stressed or anxious, your apocrine glands go into overdrive. This stress sweat is different from the sweat you produce when you're hot. It's richer in those proteins and fats that bacteria love, which is why stress-induced BO can often smell stronger or more pungent than regular sweat. It's a leftover fight-or-flight response. Your body is gearing up for a perceived threat, and part of that ancient biological reaction involves releasing these potent scent signals. Even certain medical conditions or medications can alter your body odor. So if you ever notice a sudden, persistent, and very unusual change in your body's scent, it's always a good idea to check in with a doctor just to be safe. But for the vast majority of us, a little bit of armpit odor is just a normal part of being human. So what are some simple practical tips for keeping things fresh? The number one rule is good hygiene. Washing your underarms daily with soap and water is crucial. This physically removes a lot of the bacteria and the sweat they feed on. Make sure to dry the area thoroughly afterward because remember, bacteria love moisture. Shaving or trimming underarm hair can also help. Hair provides more surface area for sweat and bacteria to cling to, and it traps moisture, creating an even more ideal environment for odor production. Reducing the hair can help keep the area drier and cleaner. Choosing the right product is key. Experiment to see what works for you. Some people do great with a simple deodorant, while others might need the sweat-blocking power of an antiperspirant. There are also natural options out there that use ingredients like baking soda, arrowroot powder, or essential oils to absorb moisture and neutralize odor without using aluminum. And don't forget about your clothes. Synthetic fabrics like polyester can trap sweat and promote bacterial growth more than natural. Breathable fabrics like cotton or linen. If you're prone to sweating, wearing looser clothing made of natural fibers can make a big difference by allowing air to circulate and help sweat evaporate more quickly. And make sure to wash your workout clothes after every use, as they can become a breeding ground for bacteria. It's just chemistry happening in real time. By understanding the science behind it, you can take simple, effective steps to manage it and feel confident. It's just another one of the amazing, and sometimes smelly, ways our bodies work. I hope this helped demystify the world of BO a little bit. If you found this video interesting or helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more deep dives into how our bodies work.